How you doing today, Travis?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Good Sunday morning here in Reno. Sunday afternoon now in Reno. The middle of January.
And it's warm. It's a warm day.
Yeah, it's too warm for this area, man. Normally we're getting snow, rain, or whatever. It's like 60 degrees maybe today. I enjoy it. I don't like the snow, but we need the water.
Oh, see, I need the snow to get out on the slopes, get up there skiing. Yeah. So should we dive into the topic?
Let's do it.
All right. So the topic today is time for print, which is something all photographers and pretty much all creatives deal with in one way or another, which is the concept of giving your service, your act of creation, to another individual, usually another creative, trading their time and your time just for prints. And usually it's just a digital download or transfer like that. It's something I've dealt with a lot and you've dealt with. And we noticed a lot of people have a lot of questions over it. So we thought this would be a good first topic to dive into, the concept of time.
Yeah, the time for print. I don't think you ever get to a level where you stop doing it because, when you start exchanging money, that changes the dynamics of everything. But when you do the TFP, that's what it stands for. That's what it means. So if we say TFP, that's what we're talking about. When you do that, it lowers the pressure, maybe I should say, and going in that there's not going to be any exchange of money, any expectation to get money. So it's a different dynamic, but I don't think you ever get to a point where you stop utilizing it because it benefits all parties.
Yep. What are examples that you often do time for print?
I don't know if you guys can see this image behind me.
Absolutely, it's amazing.
Oh, thanks, man. That was a TFP. This is a great friend of mine. And it's a location. One of the reasons I did that was because it's just a strange location. It's near a landfill, be honest with you, here in Reno. And looking at it, looking at it now, I can also see I should have taken out that in post. But
you always find something, right?
Yeah, well, you always do.
You're never done with your work.
Good thing it's a TFP. She would have said, how come you got this stick sticking out of my body? This is a location that you wouldn't think of. And another great photographer here in town a few years ago turned me onto that spot. And that particular Saturday afternoon, we can get some crazy sunsets here in Reno. And it just all went together, and it was something. When you're a creative, sometimes you can get into a funk. You don't want to shoot anymore. You don't want to go on modeling shoots anymore. You just get in a funk for whatever reason. And we're good friends. She's very talented, beautiful, a good friend of mine. So we just got together to have a shoot. I thought of that location, and that's how that one went down. And it was just relaxing, partly because we know each other so well. But again, it was relaxing because there was no money being exchanged. It was just a nice couple of hours where we could play around with different lighting. She had, I don't know, 4 or 5 different outfits. And again, we were out by a dump. And it was just a cool thing that day.
Oh, it's an awesome, that's an awesome photo. And I saw the set of photos you had, and that's kind of the reason we do it as creatives is to kind of experience a different type of shooting, a different realm. I've found myself in situations with these types of trade where I was backstage with a Black Eyed Pea, one of them, and then recently you had me go shoot a concert with Yondo, and afterwards we got to experience KRS-One, which is somebody I used to listen to when I was younger, and so you know, in normal situations, I would never be in a position to meet or even see these people and photograph them. But here I was getting to experience that, you know, fun experience that I never thought.
Yeah, and when we did that, you know, it was funny. You told me that story, and you said you used to listen to that kind of music in high school.
Yeah.
And didn't know who it was.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm a lot older than you. I'm closer to his age than you are.
Yeah.
And I never heard it at all.
Oh, really?
Before. But the cool thing about that, and another shoot that we did with some dancers at another venue here in Reno,
Time for
is
print.
that
Yeah.
this right with Shayla, this is outside, you know, natural light. I think I used a strobe on occasion because there were some areas where we went down under the road. But the KRS-One shoot and with the dancers at Hive Mind at Bluebird here in Reno, that's totally different. It's all inside. They have strobes flashing. So it's a whole new different, you know, indoor and outdoor is totally different lighting wise anyway. Concerts are different anyway. And again, when it's a trade for prints, you can experiment because everything is changing. And also you can experience things that you normally wouldn't experience. Going to Hive Mind with the aerialists we had there and the dancers and the artists, I wouldn't just think of, now I would, when it comes back, I'll think of going to that location because I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah.
KRS-One, when I start telling people I went to that show, you went to that show, you went to that show. So it was a big deal. And I would not have gone to that show if it wasn't for my friend Yonda and the opportunity to photograph that. And I'm glad you enjoyed that, man.
Oh, it was amazing. And that's kind of the benefit, I think. And that's what I encourage all creatives is, you know, don't turn off those opportunities for trade for print or time for print, because they might lead you down a path that you wouldn't normally be doing. Yeah, you brought up the experience of Bluebird, and they had a kind of an artist. I don't even know what to call it. A collection of artists that would show up there, painters, aerialists. They had live music, and it was just a fun experience. And they wanted photographers there, and so Charles and I would cover it for trade, and it was just mind blowing. Everything that you would see, you'd have aerialists, you know, dancing from the ceilings, and then people dancing on the floors, and a lot of really, really good music, and then people painting in the corners, and we were the photographers of the group.
And those on those occasions,
Yeah.
I think we did like 3 or 4 shoots down there.
Yeah.
And you would be doing you had somebody with a strobe with you.
Yeah.
I didn't.
An assistant. Yeah.
But yeah, you had an assistant, but the way you were moving your camera with the flash and creating that motion and whatnot, that was so cool. And while I was learning on 2 or 3 different fronts. I was learning things on my own. Plus, I saw what you were doing, and I was trying to emulate you. So it was cool. It's just a good learning experience. And again, there's no pressure behind it. And you get a chance to see what you can do with your gear too, because your gear, I'm a Canon shooter, and you shoot
that other one.
Shoot?
Nikon. I'm a Nikon shooter.
Okay, yeah, you got Nikon, and most of those cameras do the same stuff. I had my I think I had my mirrorless at one of those times, but the other times I didn't. It was just my DSLR camera for Canon camera, and you. Everybody was just so cool in those situations, and you're learning your gear. You're learning your gear. You're learning how to interact with people, and it's all different skills that you need when you want to get paid. And so there's so many different reasons and so many different levels to doing TFPs.
Yeah, it for me it's an opportunity because you're not being paid by a client. You of course want to get those shots that they're expecting, because that's part of the trade. But for me, it's that opportunity to really experiment and try something new. And what Charles was talking about is a technique I've been working on, and I'm still working on it, honestly, which is a shutter drag using strobes. So you lock the subject in frame with the strobe, and then you drag the rest of the background lighting, and so you can create these fun kind of ethereal lines of light. And if you twist your camera and have fun with that, you create these really neat moments. And I would have never done that if it wasn't for Trade for Print. So that's the reason I recommend doing Trade for Print. But there are moments where I turn that down, and that's usually situations that I've already done before, and the person is usually just trying to save a buck, and we hear this a lot in the photography community. There's a lot of inside jokes about that, in fact, about imagine going to a dentist and saying, is it all right if you work on my mouth, and then you can take photos, and then you could put that up in your lobby and share it as a portfolio piece. We get that a lot, and it kind of turns me off on a lot of things. But on the other hand, it's kind of this double-edged sword, because it can be so effective at getting exposure, getting yourself out there, meeting new people. Charles, you did this thing that blew my mind, where we have this thing here in Reno where it's called Art Town, and Charles ended up with a press pass just because he was down there taking photos, right? Am I getting that story right?
Oh yeah. Well, pretty much. Uh, Art Town is just a musical festival that happens in the area the whole month of July. Of course, we didn't have it this year. Everything was canceled this past year. And I not just this last year, but for the last like 6 or 7 years, I'm always going down there listening to live music, because there's nothing like live music. And Art Town, there's all types of there's country, there's blues, there's rock, there's jazz, there's Native American, there's all kinds of influences, African, all kinds of music. During the daytime, there's guys chopping logs and stuff like that. It's just a creative, different kind of thing. They have art pause a little bit farther down, and people bring their dogs, and it's a chance to shoot animals. But anyway, I was just doing my thing, and one of the members, Oliver, he saw me, and him and Beth, they offered me a press pass, and I took it. And it gave me a chance to go to Bartley Ranch to do to shoot ballet, just all kinds of different things I wouldn't normally do. And I was just learning, as I said, but also meeting different people. When you have a crowd looking at ballet, that's going to be a different crowd than's over here listening to gospel. Uh, Sometimes you would see the same people at both events. That's just a cool thing about it. But during that TFP, Travis, you mentioned a point. I mean, you have some models, and that's all they want to do, because you're helping them build up their portfolio, and pretty soon your portfolio, which is another benefit of this, you're building up your portfolio, whether it's TFP for maternity, TFP for family shoots, portraits, concerts, whatever it is. Uh, so you're building up your portfolio until you determine or figure out what road you want to go down. But they're building up their portfolio, and pretty soon you're doing the same stuff over and over and over. And you don't want to do that. You want to get to a point to where, unless you're doing a favor for somebody, and it's all about relationships. This whole thing is about relationships. If I didn't have a relationship with Oliver, I wouldn't have got the press pass. If I didn't have a relationship with Yonda, we wouldn't have got to see TRS-1. And if I didn't have a relationship with Shayla, I wouldn't have been able to get this shot. So it's about building up relationships with people. But you get to a point to where you gotta stop it, because ultimately the goal is to make money. And this is just one of those things, one of these tools that can help you get to that point where you're making some buck with your work. But sometimes, though, again, it's got to be a good feel for you and whoever. And sometimes you're helping to model out, even though you've got 50 different shots like that already in your portfolio, because you don't know what that relationship can blossom into. So there's a line that you don't want to keep crossing, because time is money. Whether you're not getting paid for it or not, your time is worth something.
You don't want to be known as the free photographer. That's the biggest fear. And so typically what I do just to protect my business interest is I'll do trade for print only if it's something that exposes me to something new, something that interests me. But overall, I refuse trade for print as much as I can, just to keep my business going. Because usually the trade for print projects are models just looking for some photos. I'm on a site called Model Mayhem, and I constantly get requests on there to just be a free lens for somebody, to get some photos. And it's really nice, and I really like the people reaching out and asking for it, because they're usually very flattering. But at the end of the day, we need to protect our business and be known as a photographer that is serious and is taking money for our work, because all this stuff isn't cheap, and the skills we're learning, that's not cheap to put in our brain either. So there's kind of a fine line. Do you have a system, Charles, you navigate when you're looking at a trade for print kind of situation?
System. I don't know if I could call it a system.
It might be more structured. Yeah.
I just I try to look at situations where I haven't done a whole lot of it, Travis, because I'm looking at how it's going to benefit me first, selfishly.
That's a really good way to put it. Yeah.
And then also I'm going to see if I can, you want to support and you want to help whoever is helping you.
Mm-hmm.
For this, I wouldn't want to go out to Lockwood, to the landfill again, to shoot, because I've done that. I got that experience behind me. I know that location. That's just another reason why you do something like this, because each location, I'm talking about obviously outside, each location is different. Daylight, early in the morning, bright sunshine at noon, golden hour. And if you got a client that's paying you, you want to know what that situation is in that area at that time. That's one benefit of having a model that's just out there helping you chill and learn some things, because you're looking at scenery, you're looking at the background, you're looking at the lights, you're looking at what time of the day the lights might be hitting off of the building, all those kinds of different things that you're putting in the back of your mind. Because when somebody say, "Hey, I want to do a family shoot, do you know a place to go?" Boom, you know a place to go. You know what time to tell them to be there. And so all of this stuff is helping you. It's not just so much to have something to put on your website or on Instagram. All of that's cool, but it's all knowledge you building up a library to get you from that level of doing a lot of these to where you're getting paid and where you're getting the good shots with your clients quicker because you have a database of knowledge that these TFPs help you build up.
Yep. Yeah, and that kind of segues into this concept I talk about a lot, where you want to make sure if you are accepting these TFP projects, that you're accepting them within your brand. It's good to step out of your brand every once in a while just to expose yourself to something crazy that you've never done before. But the stuff you post, you definitely want it to be focused towards your brand, towards your audience, towards the people you want to actually make a business from. If you do a TFP that's outside of that, it's probably not something you want to post everywhere, because that'll just create confusion with your audience. And so that's always my suggestion with people, as a brand strategist myself, that you definitely want to keep focus on your overall audience and your brand and what you're offering. And if you step out of that and all of a sudden, if you're a wedding photographer, say, and all of a sudden you were invited to Vandenberg or something to photograph the new launch, and you start posting that all over your website and on your homepage, it's going to create a little bit of confusion for your future clients if they land on your site and they know you as a wedding photographer, and all of a sudden they're seeing these rockets or something. It would create a lot of confusion. And so that's another tip for TFP, I think, just to kind of keep everything very focused towards your brand. And so,
Well, and also, Travis, you sometimes, especially when you're starting out, you don't know what your brand is. So TFPs can help you shooting newborns, maternity, family shoots, sports. You can see different things, and shoot different things, and then you can kind of find out, hey, I like this. I think I want to pursue this because they're all different. Sports, indoors, basketball, that kind of thing is totally different than outside. Baseball, baseball game in the daytime is totally different than a baseball game at night. So you this helps you figure out what you want to do because there's so many different avenues you can go down with photography. All of them can be lucrative, but you don't want to say you're a wedding photographer and you never shot one before, because that's different just because of everything is on the timeline. So TFP, and other thing I was thinking, Travis, we have this awesome photography store here in town, and you can, if you want to just experiment with different gear, different lenses, different camera bodies, you can go rent one for X amount of dollars for a day. I always rent on Saturday because they're closed on Sunday, so you get it, 2 for 1.
oh,
That's
that's
a
an
little
inside
tip.
tip.
That's a little tip there. But then you can go out and you can use an 85 if you don't have an 85. You can use a zoom lens if you don't have that zoom lens. And you can be creative and you can learn, hey, maybe I want to buy this piece of equipment later on down the road. But then you've already rented it. You've already did a TFP. You know whether you like that gear or not. So that's just, again, a selfish reason to do it and to have those relationships that we talked about, to where you can call somebody up and say, hey, what are you doing Sunday afternoon? You want to go blah, blah, blah. And you can do that. But it does help you figure out what the hell you want to do, because the worst thing you can do is to show up, tell somebody that you will do a shoot for them, a family shoot, and the only thing you've done is maybe shoot your kids, grandkids, or your parents. It's helpful to have family members to help you, because that's TFP too.
Yeah.
But
It's the majority.
when it's time to get the money, you want to kind of know what you're doing and have some confidence in your gear that you know what you're doing too.
Yeah, yeah. Have there been with your brand, with your business? Have you kind of shifted? I know I have, definitely. Have you shifted from where you started, where you thought you'd be as a photographer? For me, it was landscapes. I thought I would be a landscape photographer, and I shot a wedding before that on a film camera, long time ago, and then I also did a senior photo. But I never imagined I would actually start shooting people because I was too nervous. I was a little shy to deal with people, and being exposed to these trade for print opportunities really brought me out of my comfort zone and really made me fall in love with the idea of shooting people. And now I'm really into shooting models, dancers, things like that. People who are really expressive and comfortable with their bodies and they know what they're doing. And I 100% have trade for print to thank for that, because it really pulled me out of my comfort zone of just shooting mountains. Somebody pointed out that when you shoot a mountain, everybody shot that before, a landscape piece. Nobody's ever shot that person now in that location. So I think that's so true.
Yeah, I had the same kind of learning curve or growth curve, however you want to put it. Landscape is easy. I still to this day love shooting sunsets and sunrises, man. It's just something about the sky that I'm gravitated to.
Oh, me
So
too,
I'll never
100%.
stop doing
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah.
Especially now with the new technology with uh, Photoshop and all those different um, editing tools. Now they have what do they call it? They have sky replacement. So you can go out and shoot at a bland time of day with ugly sky, and then you can use some of their templates, or you can import some of your own skies. So that's another tangent. One of these days I'll get on. Yeah, man. But what I have shifted to now, I believe, is people, and that's I got to narrow that down still. Because people and sports, that's one thing. People and family shoes, family portraits, that's another thing. Um, and what size family do you want to do? I mean, it's a difference between shooting 3 and 4 people as opposed to 9. And it's a skill. It's a skill to posing people and getting people to relax and all of that stuff. But the thrill of taking a good shot, a good image, and giving it to a family and having that family cherish it, it's a good feeling. It's a feeling you don't get shooting landscape. Landscape is different, and you get some self satisfaction from that. And other people that see it, they enjoy it. But there's something about a photo of people that you give to them that can last for generations. That's so cool. So, but that's where I'm leaning toward right now is more with my people stuff.
Excellent. Another question too: has a trade for print ever translated to a paid client for you? Meaning, have you ever worked with a client because it was something unique, something special, and then one day they called you and said, "It's time for me to start paying you. I've made it," or whatever.
Yeah, that's happened on more than one occasion. Also, what's happened is that I'm thinking, and this goes back to not having it all determined and set in stone pretty much going in. But I assumed the shoot was going to be a TFP. And the client, it was a family shoot, a big family shoot. Uh, but I never shot a group that big. It was like 16 people, 18 people. Um, so I'd never done that before, and I just wanted to the challenge more than anything else. I was nervous as hell. Um, and that's why I took it, because I hadn't done it before. I knew I was going to be nervous and whatnot. But then at the end, I ended up getting paid, and getting paid pretty good uh, from that one shoot. There's other times where I've done some shoots for realtors in town, and then that turned into an ongoing thing as they added more realtors to their business. So it does. It, like I said earlier, Travis, it's a relationship building thing, and if you leave with a good taste in your mouth and you leave them with a good taste in their mouth, you never know where it can go to.
That's a good point. I mean, so it sounds like you recommend TFP for other photographers, maybe photographers, people in school thinking about becoming a photographer, or people thinking about quitting their job and becoming a photographer. Would you consider it beneficial for their time to establish these relationships?
Absolutely. And when you're starting off, that's really the way to go, because when you start charging people, and whether we want to admit to it or not, Travis, we're part of a community here. I don't mean just the people in Reno, the photographers in Reno. I'm talking about photographers in general. Um, and if you're out there doing a whole lot of TFPs, and you're known for that kind of person, and that's all you do, then people will, the the fair market value of the whole industry will start going down just a little bit in the community's mind. Um, so started out, yeah, you want to start out with TFPs because you're not ready to charge people.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and you will know when you're ready to charge people, I believe, when you know that you're giving them something of value, of quality, and they appreciate the value and the quality in your work. Then you're ready to charge, and you'll know what you're ready to charge. You're not going to go in charging uh, top of the line stuff because you're not ready there yet either. It's in my mind, some people may just say, okay, $3,500 for a wedding right off the bat. I think you need to build into all of that stuff to get the confidence, to learn your gear, to learn how to interact with people, all of that kind of stuff. But starting out, and like I said earlier too, TFPs, I don't think you ever stop doing it, because you always want to experiment and learn and keep that juice going. Because if you keep going out to the landfill all the time to do your shoots, then pretty soon you won't want to do that kind of stuff. And it's always changing. The gear is always changing.
Absolutely.
Different people come in and out of your life. So there's always a reason for TFP, and it'll never go away.
Yeah, yeah. It's something I'm still accepting. Just for projects that make sense. For headshots, never. But for dancers and models, things that really align with my kind of view of where I want to go or where I want to explore, I jump on that all the time. And in fact, a TFP situation led us to you and I to actually working with a bunch of dancers here in Reno, and they ended up putting together a show, and they hired me to do the lighting for that show as a photographer, because they wanted it to be very photocentric. They wanted it to work really well on camera. And Charles helped me with that too, and actually took over for the night one night, for 2 nights, I think, right?
It was for one scary night, and you ended up coming back. Did you come back early? It was going to be for 2 nights, and you had the fires over there in California, so you had to come back. Uh, so it was one night. I had so many notes and stuff like that there. I'm down there trying to read my notes and do it. It was an experience. I would like to do it again, but
I don't know if it'll happen anytime soon.
yeah.
It was neat though, and that
I'll
exposed
stick
us.
with my camera.
Yeah.
I'll stick with my camera.
It-
But it did lead us into that
Yep.
that situation that night, which was cool. But that group, did you get paid for boxes too? This is two different shows we're talking about. You got
Yes. Yeah. That led to not much. It's just basically ticket sales, and then the dancers, of course, get the
okay,
majority of the profits, and then I
okay.
think a little bit
So
landed in
so the
marketing.
TFPs led to you getting paid for two different shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Not nothing to praise about it, but
it still it
I
was
really
something.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Plus, you're helping them out.
Yep.
It's funny too how, um, as I say again, it's all about building up relationships, and all of a sudden, a TFP will turn into a friend, which will turn into a client, which will always be a friend. So, it's funny how this whole thing just builds up. So, they're friends, and I'm sure whenever they call us in need, we'll be there again.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I know they're still creating. We're probably actually going to bring them on the show because that's overall our plan here is to bring in creatives and see how they're staying in business, especially during COVID. But what are their plans moving forward? Where were they before COVID? And kind of thinking about creativity as a business and in kind of all aspects of that. We probably won't get into the nitty gritty of taxes and things like that too much, but it's definitely a factor. Is there anything else you wanted to add to Time for Print?
No, I just think do it, uh, and because the more you can shoot, the better off you're going to be. And people are busy. Everybody's busy, and if you can invest your time to learn, it's going to benefit you in the long run. And you want to try to make it a win-win because those are the best situations where you can benefit from it, where whoever can benefit from it, and everybody will just grow together.
Absolutely. I wanted to step back a little bit and actually talk about the topic you were talking about earlier, which was if you skew the market too much, being the trade for print photographer, then models who are looking to break out or get prints or things like that, you're actually going to be hurting the other photographers around you. Have you heard stories, Charles, about anything along those lines where prices are dropping? There is kind of this race to the bottom because now cameras are just so available to everybody, and people are getting out there and they just want to do a shoot for $50 or something and call it a day. And that affects. Yep.
Those kind of stories are out there, man. There's people who will say, "I don't charge for my photography," uh, and everybody's going to do their thing, Travis. You don't recommend it, but you can't tell somebody, man, you got to start charging. So if they want to just go and do that, that's one thing. But the other thing is, if you got somebody serious about their craft and serious about wanting to have a business to where they're doing everything legit. And after they do everything legit and invest their time and whatnot, they have some money left over after they paid their expenses and whatnot, then that category is going to be different than somebody who advertises free photography. And you're going to always have that. You can't get everybody on that same plane. So you just got to get your head wrapped around how you want to run your business. And there's going to be people out there with the $25 shoots and the $40 shoots and all of that. That's not going to change because they think they're busy, and they are, but they're not making any money. And this is what I hope that we strive for, is to help people create a sustainable, profitable business, whatever business it is. And a quick side shoot to that, Travis, your style is different than my style, photography wise. everybody's different. And if that person that's out there, that's all they do is TFPs, the model will not benefit from that, because the model in front of your camera, the images are going to be totally different, different style, everything than mine. And for their sake, they want to have a varied amount of photographs on their portfolio too. So you want to move around. You want to have different models. You want to have different photographers that you can call on or you can work with. So if there's the ones out there that they want to do TFPs forever, or if they want to charge nothing, then you just got to let those people be. You just got to let them be, and then you got to, in your mind, know what you want to do and associate yourself with the kind of people that thinks like you do. And you're going to always have those people, and there's nothing you can do about it.
There's nothing. And usually what I notice is the people who don't charge, they usually burn themselves out pretty quickly. Because I think in the back of their head they kind of think there's just going to be this massive payday someday. If I keep doing this, somebody's going to come along and just want to pay me, this exorbitant fee or something. But what I've always noticed is if you are known as the free photographer, you're always going to stay the free photographer. People are going to introduce you as the free photographer, and so there's this thing I do with my marketing business, where we actually point out to our clients whenever we never say we're giving anything away for free. You never say free. We actually tell them that this has a value and we're giving it to you because of X. And so we point out, why we're giving this to them, because they did buy into a package or something like that. And just to get the project done, they need an extra 100 words or something like that. And so we'll give that to them as added value, but we will never ever say. And I think you were telling me something about that too in the photography world, about never mention free.
Yeah, I've heard that it's not good to use the term free. You can turn it into vouchers, you can turn it into discounts or something, but don't use the word free, because again, people don't value free. People value stuff they gotta pay for. If people will value, I believe, a $35 steak more than they'll value a $2 steak. It's just the way the mind works. And you don't want to be known. And Reno is a city, but it's a small city. Yeah, and even if you're in LA, man, word of mouth goes quick. Um, and you just don't want to be known for that as that kind of person. But that's me. And like I said, you're not going to change some people. They got their mindset that they don't want to charge people for shoots, and let them do their thing. But that's not me.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I look forward to the next time we get together and the next topic we're going to be talking about, because there's a whole lot of things out there uh, that we need to discuss.
Oh, absolutely. We need to talk.
Yeah, we got to talk, man.
We have a few discussions coming up. We're thinking about covering pricing in general, and this is something Charles and I are still figuring out in our jobs, in our businesses. We're trying to figure out where the market can bear our pricing and things like that. So I think that'd be a fascinating discussion to get into.
The other thing we're going to be talking about is Travis. His line of work is more into, what do you call it, development,
marketing and internet marketing, with an emphasis, I guess, on website design.
All right. So what we're also going to be doing is, you guys are going to get a back seat into my website, because you'll see how my logo was created, and we're going to actually just go in and revamp my website. You'll get a chance to see that from beginning to end. And I think it'll be more of a nice interactive way to see how this is done, and how it can benefit you as well.
Yeah. And that what occurred to me is, and I've made this mistake with my websites, and this is for future programming, is whenever I would create a website for my photography business, I would create metent, just content that had pretty photos that I took, and I would put them on my website. But I never gave clear call to actions or had a sales funnel in mind or any type of idea on how to capture a client and then what to do with that client once I got them. And so that's really kind of a broader topic of this entire show, is diving into what a creative can do with their website, how to optimize that. And I'm going to give away all the secrets of the trade in marketing, and show, we're going to actually go through Charles' site and show what he's doing right and what he's doing wrong. And then we're going to bring it all in together. And we're probably going to even look at other creatives' websites and do a friendly critique, with love, of course, of what they could improve on. Because there are a lot of things that I see, things that I even did with my websites, where I didn't have, a phone number, basic things like that. I didn't have a phone number on the website because I didn't want random people calling me. I didn't have call to actions leading people to purchase a product or to move forward with our relationship. So those are a lot of things that I want to dive into with this. So yeah,
there's a whole lot out there to get into, and it's going to be a learning experience, and I can't wait. Can't wait.
Yep. Looking forward to it. Well, cool. Well, thanks for joining me, Charles.
All right, man. You enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll talk again.
You too. I'll talk to you later.